What's next? What can I do? What can I do? I need to make a statement. I need to get something out there that people don't know about. It's Houdini. Everybody knows about Houdini. Yes. Hey D, it's Frank. I need you to get me shows in the Carolinas. Don't worry about it. Just get me something interesting. Bye. During World War II, battleships defended our nation's aircraft carriers and helped us win the war. But after the war was over, who defended the battleships from the scrapyards? This episode, we're visiting Wilmington, North Carolina to talk with Danielle Wallace of the USS North Carolina about how some children helped save a piece of history.
My name is Danielle Wallace, and I'm the programs director here at the Battleship North Carolina, and I would have been here 7 years in October.
The Battleship North Carolina was commissioned in 1941 and served in the Pacific Theater until 1945. The ship survived numerous battles and harrowing situations, even once taking a torpedo that blew a tractor-trailer-sized hole right in its side. This didn't stop the North Carolina. The crew jumped into action, countered the listing, and joined back in the battle within 30 minutes.
The battleship crew, their original crew, invited the crew of the Japanese submarine who torpedoed them to meet with them on board the ship on VJ Day.
Wow.
And they presented to that crew part of their torpedo and said,
Really?
here's your torpedo back.
So this was a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, absolutely. The battleship served in World War II. She served in the Pacific, and she would have a crew of 2,300 men at one time. She earned 15 battle stars and is the most decorated battleship of World War II.
While the North Carolina was the most decorated battleship of World War II, in 1960 it finally met a battle it looked like it couldn't win. That is, until it received help from an unlikely source.
The Navy actually was going to scrap the North Carolina. Citizens of North Carolina said, no, you're not. We want the North Carolina to come to Wilmington. So they asked all of the school children to give their milk money to help save the North Carolina and bring her home to Wilmington. And that's what they did. And she came to Wilmington in 1961.
The North Carolina is open to the public so that its memory and history stays alive. You can tour the ship, see the cramped conditions the crew lived in, and see the massive amount of technology and firepower that made this one of the most advanced ships of its time.
We have field trips, schools come here all the time. I think there's a lot of schools here today. We have Easter egg hunts. We have a Batty Battleship event where children can come and trick or treat on the ship. So it's not just a history museum, but also a place where we tried to have a lot of events for the community, to just be a safe environment, to have that nice battleship stamp of approval. It's a very personal connection that people have to it. They'll go to the ship and they think, this reminds me of my grandfather. My grandfather served on a ship like this, or my father, or my son may be serving in the Navy now. When people have their events here, that gives them the opportunity to make the ship their own, but yet they always bring in a part of that history to their event. I like to think of the ship as the people's ship.
The USS North Carolina strikes an impressive silhouette in Wilmington, North Carolina, and is a source of pride for its residents. Next episode, I head south to Myrtle Beach to see if I can find any history amongst all the modern tourist locations. See you then.